Well, hello. I realised the other day, while sat here at my desk, this is a lovely place to show off all my CDs. Because yes, I've got a lot of them. So I thought I'd do one of these collection videos that all of the hippest and the hottest Doctor Who tubers do. You know, all the stuff, they show you all the stuff that they've bought instead of paying rent or buying food or that sort of thing. Like me. So, CD shells. Most of them are Big Finish. In fact, I think all but one of them are Big Finish. But we'll find out, no doubt. And I think most of them are Doctor Who as well. But as these are CD shells, not everything Big Finish makes fit onto CD shells. So let's start with the second box set in the novel adaptations release, Damaged Goods and the Well-Mannered War. I remember really liking Damaged Goods, but it has been a while since I've listened to it. That's fun. The 10th Doctor Adventures, Volume 1. The only edition I bought on physical. I bought the other two series on digital, because I didn't care enough to buy them on physical, basically. And we have the 6th Doctor, The Last Adventure. One of my earliest ever Big Finish purchases, because I was interested in how the 6th Doctor died. Out of a sense of morbidity, I suppose. And then we have the Legacy of Time. Bloody enormous. I mean, if you look at that, those are standard. They're nice little books with the CDs in, like that. You see, just a bit fancy. Something a bit fancy to talk about. But this is enormous. The Legacy of Time was released to celebrate Big Finish doing 20 years of Doctor Who, I believe. And yeah, enormous. Also, really fun set of stories. My favourite one, probably The Sacrifice of Joe Grant. Nice little cameo from Nicholas Courtney in there. No, it wasn't Nicholas Courtney. Nice little cameo from John Culshaw in there, playing Nicholas Courtney, is what I meant to say. You can tell that I'm not a Who tuber, can't you? And the most recent thing, probably on this shelf, is Masterful, released in January to celebrate 50 years of the Master. And again, it's enormous. It's about, I think it's the same, yeah, it's the same size box as Legacy of Time, which is, you know, is never going to fit on my CD shelves. But yeah, that's a fun story. I mean, it's long, it's like 3 hours, but fun nonetheless. Let's get to the proper stuff. The nice CD-shaped CDs. Don't entirely know if you can see at the top here. I'll go on this side, because these have just got a few simple things. The Mechanical Planet, that is a CD audio drama that came with Warp, an issue of the Warp magazine. Yeah. And then I've got a whole bunch of, we're giving away an audio book with a newspaper. So that's from The Telegraph, The Observer, The Guardian. Most of these in that pile I got off Pip Madeley from Twitter, because I gave him some old VHS tapes. So we swapped them for some CDs, which is nice. Let's move across. One of my absolute favourite Big Finish stories ever, Treasure Island, an adaptation, adapted by Barnaby Edwards and directed. That's quite nice. But yeah, it's starring Nicholas Farrell as Jim and Tom Baker as Long John Silver. Very fun performance, that. We come to 2 Shakespeare adaptations, Hamlet and King Lear. That I've tried listening to, but honestly, it's Shakespeare. It's quite dull. Even if I've got John's favourite person, Alexander Vlahos, there, John being my podcast co-host. Subscribe to Terror of the Tweeters now on all good podcast hosting services. It's got Miles Richardson and Terry. It's got a great cast in that. And a great cast in that one. I mean, look at that. David Warner, Louise Jameson, Lisa Bowerman, Nick Pegg, David Warner again. No? Who else? Who else am I thinking of? Barnaby Edwards. And Fincy Williams. Good casting that. Good casting both of them. But it's Shakespeare. Quite dull. I mean, they're solid adaptations. We come to a non-Big Finish thing. We come to a BBC Audio, The Crusade, parts 2 and 4. This probably came with the VHS tapes. Not sure if I've still got the VHS tapes or whether or not I gave them to Pip. But, you know, if I ever want to do the Crusade before they animate it, they'll animate it eventually. We have another early Big Finish purchase. Tom Baker at 80. Signed by Tom Baker and signed by Nicholas Briggs. Because if you were one of the first 500 people to buy this on the website, you got it signed by Tom Baker, which is very nice. And then I met Nick Briggs at Big Finish Day a couple of years ago. Got him to sign it as well. Wonderful interview that. Very nice. We have, what's that? H.G. Wells. These are better than the Shakespeare adaptations. Excuse me. You have The Martian Invasion of Earth with Richard Armitage, who's playing Rassilon now, so that's fun. And The Time Machine with Ben Miles. Love that story. I listened to that a few months back when I was on the commute. Yeah, very nice adaptations of those. You see, Big Finish do stuff that isn't Doctor Who. I mean, this is Doctor Who, but they do some stuff that isn't. We come to Not a Well Woman, a grown-up fairy tale written and narrated by Katie Manning. Katie Manning, one of the most brilliant and most bonkers people you will ever meet. If you do get a chance to meet Katie Manning, please do. I want to meet her again, get her to sign this because it's very fun and very rude, but very fun. We have The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, starring a whole bunch of people I don't know and who don't star in many Big Finish productions. Big Finish tend to have a sort of roster that they use a lot, actors they use a lot. You know, Louise Jameson is amongst them, but you know, that's a nice little side project. We come to the Torchwood Archive in a CD sleeve that I hate. I really do not like whatever this is that they've packaged it in, just some flimsy bits of cardboard. But the story's nice, so I suppose that's what matters. This, the Torchwood Archive, was that the 10th anniversary of Torchwood? Might have been. It stars most of the original cast. Who's it not got in? It's not got Owen, Bern Gorman, but I think it's got everyone else. Yeah. And more people than just that cast list. That's a decent story, but you do kind of need to know like the first dozen Torchwood name range. So I've got them on digital. We'll come back to Torchwood. Next, we have Space 1999. There is some more Space 1999 coming soon. Maybe coming this month, possibly. They're carrying on the story. An adaptation of the 80s sci-fi drama where the moon buggers off and leaves and people are stuck on it. But that's the pilot episode. I remember enjoying that. Not listened to it in a while, but I do love a bit of Mark Bonnar. He's a great voice for Big Finish. And Frankenstein, starring Arthur Darvill, who'll be back as Rory soon. And Nick Briggs casting himself as not Shakespeare's monster. As Frankenstein's monster. Yes, Nick Briggs casting himself as Mary Shelley's monster. The Modern Prometheus. I think I've got that on digital as well, so I might have to listen to that. Because I don't remember if I've listened to this one yet. I'll have to give it a go. Next, we come to, excuse me, Mr. Silent. I'm well aware you probably can't see above like this point, but you know there are some Doctor Who action figures up there. One of which is a Silent, whose legs are dangling off the edge of the thing. So I've just got to nudge him out the way slightly. As we bring out, I'm not going to bring all of them out. I'll bring one of them out. Target novel adaptations. They're not adaptations, they're just audiobooks. Just audiobooks. I've got Twice Upon a Time, I've got The Day of the Doctor, and I've got Rose. And I've not listened to any of them yet, but I have read the books, so they're very nice stories. And I think, were Big Finish selling these for a while? Even though they're BBC audio, were they sold on the Big Finish website? Possibly. I think that might be where I picked them up. And then we come to a random slip of paper. A random slip of paper from Blair Moat. who makes the music for a lot of Big Finish, mainly the Torchwood stuff. And where's it gone? There it is. There it is. He ran a competition on Twitter a while back for people to find the cameo he had in a TV show. I think it was that TV show where Peter Capaldi played a ghost hunter or whatever, who had stupid big hair. But yeah, if you could find his cameo, I found this cameo. He sent me a Torchwood story, which is very nice. Not listened to it yet because it's CD. And basically, if it's a Big Finish and it's not on the app, I'm going to not listen to it ever, basically. I'm going to procrastinate. And I kept that just because I can. Because Blair Mowat wrote me a thing. Lovely Blair Mowat. We come to some proper Doctor Who. Getting into the bulk of Doctor Who now with my Big Finish collection. Shada, which I have listened to years ago. I'm hoping they can sort the rights out and get it on digital soon. But who knows. An adaptation of the Doctor Who story from the 80s, or 1979, that was not made, cancelled halfway through production because of strike action and all of that nonsense. I'm sure you know what Shada is. But Big Finish decided to come in and remake it with Paul McGann. And if I remember rightly, the 8th Doctor wakes up one day and goes, "Ooh, remember that thing I didn't do when I was back in Tom Baker's body?" And he goes and picks up Romana and K9. Was there an animation of that one? There might have been an animation of that one. But that's a decent story. We come to 2 of the early adventures. I picked these up at Big Finish Day a few years back because they were £8 for both of them. And I flipped the covers around to give them the classic logo, because you see, they come with, by standard, the logo of the time, or the generic classic logo. But since 2018, they've been having the new series logo, because that's just... You want everything on the shelf to look the same, basically. Make sure it's all from the same show. But Big Finish do give you a lovely little slip cover, so you can swap around. Yeah, Crash of the UK 201, that's alright. Dalek Occupation of Winter is a wonderful story, well worth picking up. The Light at the End, the story that Big Finish released for the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who, signed by Nick Briggs, Peter Davison and Sylvester McCoy, because I've not met Colin Baker or Paul McGann yet, and although I have a picture with Tom Baker, I've not got him to sign anything yet. Or Geoffrey Beevers. I've met Geoffrey Beevers, but he was only signing his book, which is a good book, but he was only signing his book, he wasn't signing anything else. That's a nice story, nice solid anniversary romp, which, you know, is what you need, really. Written by Nick Briggs, like half the stuff Big Finish put out. Now, alongside the one that Blair Mowat sent me, we have the only other Torchwood story I have on physical. I have loads of Torchwood on digital, including series 5 and 6, Aliens and God Among Us, and like the first 20 or so of the main range. But this is the only one I bought on physical, The Conspiracy. In fact, no, I bought the Slitheen one on physical as well, but they've not delivered it yet. So, I mean, I'm doing this video whilst I know I still have Big Finish to be delivered. That's planning for you, that. But yeah, the first, I wanted this one because it's the very first Torchwood story that Big Finish did. So, you know, if I ever meet John Barrowman, I might get him to sign it. You know, the sex pest that he is. Sat slander. Yeah, fish. We come to some Unbound crap. Decent. The Unbound series is a series that Big Finish should bring back. Basically, it's like the What If stories of Marvel Comics, or the Elseworld of DC Comics, where they take an event in Doctor Who history and go, what if that was a bit different? So for Old Mortality, it's what happened if the Doctor never left Gallifrey, I think, and for some reason was played by Geoffrey Bayldon. And Exile, what if the third Doctor was a drunk woman who makes sexist jokes and burps a lot and is always drunk. Yeah. I mean, I like Arabella Way. She should have played the Doctor a long time ago. But the Unbound stories, yeah, they don't quite hit the highest highs that you'd expect. We come to a short trip. One of the only short trips to be ever released on physical. There's another one in Master. Well, in fact, there's two in Master. But this was a short trip rarity because it was only available to subscribers of the Doctor Who figurine collection, which I was subscribed to for all of 5 months and then gave it up. I've got those figures somewhere. But I remember that being quite a nice story. Nyssa up against the Master, or something like that. Now, I won't pull these all down because it's that lot, but we have some main range stories that I've bought on physical, because in my early days of Big Finish, they would, in fact, most of these come from one sale that Big Finish did. They did a Dalek sale. Would have been late 2015 probably. Might have been when Doctor Who Series 9 started and they had Daleks in it. But I bought, those seem like fun stories, and bought them on CD because they were like $2.99. And started listening to them and didn't understand them because a lot of them are following arcs with companions I didn't know at the time. But now I do. Now I know all about Charlie and whoever Sylvester McCoy's travelling with. Is it the woman that was the Nazi? What was she called? I can't remember. I might just think of that in 5 minutes. Who knows? But we have Memory Lane, Valhalla, Enemy of the Daleks, Brotherhood of the Daleks, Patient Zero, Daleks Among Us, Masters of Earth, so they're all from the Dalek sale, and the Two Masters trilogy, which those are probably my favourite of the lot. Masters of Earth is quite a good one, if that's the Perry one. Yeah, Masters of Earth, that picks up during the Hartnell invasion of Earth from the 60s story. Basically puts the Sixth Doctor in the middle of that story, and he's there going, I can't interfere with this, I know what's about to happen. What do we do? That's fun. But the Two Masters trilogy, very nice, very entertaining set of stories, those. With Alex McQueen as the Master as well. Alex McQueen's Master is going to be appearing in a story that I've written for the charity anthology We Are the Master, collated by James Hawkins. I'll put a link to that in the description probably. But yeah, I'm in it. Let's do some Lost stories. This is Doctor Who season 27. Yeah. Thin Ice, Crime of the Century, Animal, and Earth Aid. I don't think I've finished listening to any of them. I need to give them a proper listen to, but basically they're the stories that were sort of roughly planned for the next series of Doctor Who in the 80s before it was cancelled. And they just had these scripts lying around, and Big Finish went, we can do something with them. You've got an odd idea from 30 years ago, we can do something with that. Hey, Russell. Next, we come to, what are they? Are they Companion Chronicles? They might all, no. I was going to say, next we come to a whole load of Companion Chronicles, but they're not Companion Chronicles. That's another one from the Dalek sale. It's not in order. It's not in order. Why isn't it in order? Why didn't I plan ahead for this? I got these. I took these off the other shelf down there. Didn't plan much ahead with this. Real time. That's a bit crap. But it's fun. It's a weird little quirk of Doctor Who history. That might be a video CD. Is it? Will that have the animation on it? I don't know. I need to explore that. But yes, now we come to just all of these. I have a whole bunch of Companion Chronicles from when they're not in order either. In fact, no, those two are in order. They go there. Now they're in order. But yeah, Big Finish did a warehouse clearance where they said we've got all these Companion Chronicles. Buy as many as you want for like £3. And yeah, I've not got all of them. I've got a smattering, a good smattering. I've got the Oliver Harper trilogy. I've got the Sarah Kingdom trilogy. I've got the Rocketmen stories. I think those are the highlights. I've got the Time Museum. That's Ian Chesterton He's an old man. He's living in a museum dedicated to him for some reason. That's a fun story, worth getting. Yeah, I think now we come to everyone's favourite 1940s racist, Winston Churchill. And I have these on physical because they were extremely cheap. Big Finish practically giving them away. I've listened to the first series. I remember liking the first series. Quite a good selection of stories. Not listened to the second series yet, because I've not had it for long. But I will. I'll get there. Next, we come to the beauties. The absolute pinnacle of Doctor Who on audio. My favourite Big Finish story. Might be my favourite Doctor Who story in any medium. Dark Eyes. Signed by Nick Briggs, of course it is. I really want to meet Paul McGann. He was going to be at WarpCon and Big Finish Day. But 2020 happened, so screw that. Dark Eyes. Yeah, a 4-hour-long story. Well, 4-hour-long stories, all connected. And it's just fantastic. It is dramatic. It is ambitious. Paul McGann is fantastic. Ruth Bradley is fantastic as the companion, as Molly O'Sullivan from Ireland. Won't do the accent. And Toby Jones is the villain. And no matter how many times I've listened to this, and I do listen to it a lot, the twist with Toby Jones at the end always surprises me. If you know what the twist is, then it might. I hope it always surprises you as well. I mean, you know it is. It's a good twist. But I hope it always surprises you as well. But if you've not heard it, go and buy Dark Eyes. Especially when it's on like a Paul McGann sale, because you can get it for like 20 quid. 4-5 hours worth of content there. Very nice. And I have Dark Eyes 2 on physical. I have Dark Eyes 3 and 4 on digital, because I couldn't afford to get them on physical when they came out. But I do hope to get them eventually. I do, however, have on physical all 4 box sets of Doom Coalition, because after the 8th Doctor killed everyone he cared about in the end of his series of adventures, Big Finish rebooted the 8th Doctor, gave him a whole bunch of new characters and villains that cropped up every so often in box sets. So you had Dark Eyes, you had Doom Coalition, you had Ravenous, you had Stranded, you had the Time War, but I've not got them on physical. Is there another one? I think that might be it. But yeah, I've got Doom Coalition. I think I bought these on physical all in bulk, for like 80 quid for all of them. You know, it's nice, but it's expensive. My favourite box set of the Doom Coalition range might be one. Might be that one. Because, you know, it's sort of disconnected. You don't need much to go in. You can go in with you can go into Doom Coalition without having heard Dark Eyes, and you can go into Dark Eyes alone. That's standalone. If you just want a nice Doctor Who audio series to kick you off, to start you into the world of audio, start with Dark Eyes 1, make your way through. Slide that out again, because at the end we have Susan's War. Sadly, Susan doesn't get her own big box set. There's still 4 stories in this. But Big Finish can no longer afford to keep making them this size, so they've shrunk down a bit. Susan's War was excellent. Following on from a short trip, all hands on deck, Susan gets to fight in the Time War a bit and meet the Sensorites and the Daleks, and brings Ian Chesterton back for some bloody reason. Because William Russell's in his 90s, but he still sounds like he's 30. Solid, solid, solid. I've just slid that back in all the way, so I can't get it out again. Oh well. See, with this shelf, these are stuck forward a bit slightly because this shelf, this rectangle has a back to it. This one doesn't, so these are just pushed back up against the wall, which is why I've left a small gap so I can still dig in and grab them out as I please. But these, no, they've lived there forever now. You see, I pulled them out slightly, so I did prepare a bit. We have all 4 Ravenous box sets. And the first one has the Candyman on, and the rest of them have Paul McGann on for some reason. Who knows? It's like with Doom Coalition. Doom Coalition has the villain on the spine on the first release, and then the Doctor on the spine for the rest of them. Who knows? But by this point, they are running out of pictures of Paul McGann. They only took like 14 when they did the photo shoot in the new Dark Eyes coat, and they've already started duplicating. Art can only take you so far. Ravenous carries on from Doom Coalition. I wouldn't say Ravenous is as standalone as Doom Coalition or Dark Eyes. You do kind of need to know about the 11, the main villain of the piece, and about Liv and Hell and the companions. But it's still good. Solid release. I might prefer Ravenous to Doom Coalition, and I prefer Doom Coalition to Dark Eyes on the whole, so Ravenous might be my favourite of the lot as a full series. Dark Eyes 1 is still the best box set in there, but Ravenous 3 and 4 come very close, especially with that Master story in Ravenous 4, where like 400 versions of the Master meet up and shoot at Mount Bonar a bit. The latest Paul McGann release, Stranded Volume 1. Stranded Volume 2 should be coming very soon. But again, you can see Big Finish can't afford to keep making Doctor Who stories that size. So they've been shrunk down. I definitely won't say the reason why. But 52% of the country voted for it. So that's fun. Stranded 1. That's quite a nice set of stories. Bit random. That's sort of a bit, why are you doing this? But you know, they're fun. Tom Baker's in it for some reason. And Rebecca Root stars as a companion. Doctor Who's first transgender companion. And she actually is a proper companion. I mean, she works for Torchwood as well. But she does seem to be becoming a proper companion. Which is lovely. Next we come to what people often say is the best Big Finish series, Jago and Lightfoot. I've got this box set signed by Lisa Bowerman, who plays Ellie, and Christopher Benjamin, who plays Jago. Because when I met Christopher Benjamin, sadly Trevor Baxter had passed away. He passed away in 2017, I think. Yeah, I'd have loved to have met him. He sounds like a thoroughly lovely man. But, yeah, you know, Christopher Benjamin's very fun. They're good. I have Jago and Lightfoot up to series 6 on digital, but not on physical. I may have to invest in the physical at some point because they are fantastic releases. Not my favourite Big Finish series. My favourite Big Finish series is Gallifrey, but I don't have any Gallifrey here because I have it all on digital. I really should have invested in the physical when they were selling them for 99p. Ricky, I know you bought them all for 99p. How much do you want for them? I want Gallifrey on physical. But because that's my favourite Big Finish release. We'll come back to that because I'm going to talk about Narvin a bit later on. We have the first release of Classic Doctor's New Monsters. The Weeping Angel story is excellent, the Judoon story is crap, the Sycorax story is fun, and the Sontaran story is dull as dishwater, is I think the way to sum that up there. But Fallen Angel, they're all worth getting. They're all... And people do enjoy them. This is just my opinions. They're all worth it. You know, I maybe wouldn't pay 40 quid for this box set as it's going for now. I bought it for 20. Probably worth that for Fallen Angels. Fallen Angels is a great story. Who wrote Fallen Angels? Phil Mulrine. M-U-L-R-Y-N-E. Mulrini. Him. Wrote a good story. We have some more lost stories where Big Finish find a script writer from 30 years ago and say, hey, do you have any ideas you didn't get to make 30 years ago? We have the Fourth Doctor, Foe from the Future and the Valley of Death, which is, I think, the first Big Finish Tom Baker made. Might be. And we have the Second Doctor box set, which includes Prison in Space, which is rubbish, and sexist as well, just to top it off. And the pilot audio episode of the Dalek spin-off series that Terry Nation tried to make, and nobody let him make, because it wasn't very good. Jean Marsh is good in it. I do like a bit of Jean Marsh, but not worth it, basically. Fourth Doctor box set. There's some gems. Like 5 minutes, maybe. Lost stories have never been great on the whole for Big Finish. I've not heard the most recent ones. In fact, there's some more coming. There's some more Tom Baker stories coming soon. One where my nose has got really itchy all of a sudden. There's one where they've recast Sarah Jane Smith with her daughter, whose name I've completely forgotten, and they've recast Harry. We'll have to see how that goes. Moving down the shelf again, we have the comic strip adaptations. These might be my favourite Fourth Doctor stories because they're very fun. These are audio adaptations of comic strips in Doctor Who magazine years ago, and I want them to do more of these. I want them to do the Doctor Who Adventures comics with Wolfie and Heather. Is that her name? Basically the 10th Doctor's companions from the comics in like 2008. This is signed by Chris Walker-Thompson, who I met at Big Finish Day. Yeah, really lovely man, Chris. Shame they didn't get you in to do any patch routing. Good luck with the kid, Chris. I don't think he's watching, but good luck with the kid, Chris. Yeah, those are brilliant. Starbeast is exceptional. That's very fun. With Beep the Meep, yeah, well worth your time, those comic strip adaptations. And then, stuck in the shelf, the 10th Doctor and River Song, another David Tennant I have on physical. Because this is sort of the era where I'm buying Big Finish, or 2019 and 2020 were sort of the era where I was earning money and could afford to buy the physical releases more than the digital. They're good. Expiry dating is good. Precious Annihilation, that was fun. Pirate Story. And Ghosts, which I can't remember much about. But I listened to these on the commute whenever they came out in like November. That's basically the 10th Doctor Series 4. It's just got River Song in it and they called it a different thing because that is the 10th Doctor Series 1. They did Series 2 with Rose, which I got on digital. Series 3 with Donna, which I got on digital. And then Series 4 with River. Please make a Martha box set next, Big Finish. Please make a Martha box set next. Now, all of these there, most of them still in their wrapping, are Bernice Summerfield. So this one, this is the very first Big Finish CD of anything. This is the first time the company made an audio drama. I mean, everybody working there did work for a different audio company beforehand making CDs, but that's by the by. This is the first one, which, because they couldn't get the license to Doctor Who, they could get the license to one of Doctor Who's friends, who had her own book series for a while. It's better than it sounds. This one's a pantomime spoof. It's weird, but it's a pantomime spoof. And I've not listened to most of them. I'm making my way through the series. And they're solid stuff, you know. Big Finish definitely get better at things like scene transitions and music. But as an education into early audio dramas, I mean early, like 1999, they're good. You know, they're worth it, especially if you can get them on the sales that they've had recently. There's been a lot of Benny Summerfield sales, because for years, these were only available on CD. They didn't have the license to sell these on digital to get them on the Big Finish app until last year, when the lawyers finally shook hands and said boo to each other, or whatever it is lawyers do. And now they're available on digital as well, so I bought the ones that were available on both. I'm hoping that they do the other 400 series that Benny Summerfield has on digital, because I'll give them a listen. Some of them are quite good, so I've heard. Because Benny Summerfield, after she had her own 400 individual adventures, they then launched the New Adventures of Bernice Summerfield, signed by Lisa Bowerman, because I bought this at Big Finish Day, and I ripped the shrink wrap off, shoved it under Lisa Bowerman's nose and went, I'm going to listen to this tonight, I promise. And I did. I actually did. I made a promise to someone and kept it. It's the high quality content you get on with MattBobRoss. I have series 1, 2, 5 and 6, I think. Yes, I have series 1, 2, 5 and 6. I have listened to 3 and 4 on digital, and I can't remember why I bought 5 and 6 on CD. I'm probably planning to buy series 3 and 4 at some point. But this, which I've just started listening to this week, is the only Big Finish CD I have, I think, that has Narvin. Sean Carlson playing Narvin, my favourite Big Finish character ever. He's from the Gallifrey series. He is the head of the Celestial Intervention Agency on Gallifrey, until Romana deposes him when she loses the presidency, but go listen to the Gallifrey stories. And David Warner stars in these as the Doctor from a parallel universe that features in one of the Unbound stories, which I don't have on physical. But yeah, those are fun stories. Fun little continuation of Benny's adventures. And now, let me slide all these out because we're powering through to the end. Ooh. Time Lord Victorious. Time Lord Victorious. There's the 8th Doctor trilogy, which you need to read 2 books and jump and do the Time Lord Victorious hopscotch to fully understand. There's the 4th Doctor story, which is a sequel to it all, sort of. There's the Mines of Magnox, which is set halfway through a book, and you need to have bought a t-shirt to understand it. For my full views on Time Lord Victorious, listen to the podcast where I get quite grumpy about it. The stories individually are fine. They are solid stories. The rest of Time Lord Victorious, the marketing enterprise, meh, I got annoyed with it. But that's by the by. I still bought them on physical. We have some more of the main range, some new main range stories, which is a rare thing for me to buy some modern main range. I tend to buy them when they're cheap and on digital. This is Shadow of the Daleks, which needed 2 stories, 2 CDs. It didn't. It was described as the 5th Doctor crashes into the Time War, and it's more like the 5th Doctor grazes his knees on the Time War. They're not solid then. Not worth your time, really, Shadow of the Daleks, which is unfortunate. Because clearly a lot of work went into them. It was just a dud ending and the stories didn't mesh together very well. Out of Time, and I've swapped the cover over. Have I not swapped the cover on them? Oh, I have. I've swapped the cover over on them. Out of Time, with Tennant cover. Shame it doesn't come with a Tom Baker logo. I'd have liked that because, of course, it comes with the new series logo. It doesn't quite look right with David Tennant. He suits the taxi cab. The incredibly dull Doctor that he is. But that's a fun story, Out of Time. 10th Doctor meets the 4th Doctor, and people who are generic fans of Doctor Who go in for the 10th Doctor and the 4th Doctor, which is very nice. That's a solid story. Worth getting. Shadow of the Sun. Ordinarily, I don't buy the 4th Doctor adventures on physical, but this is a bit of a special one, because this was the first Big Finish made and released in lockdown. They made it. Everybody was remote recording for the first time. This was the first one they did, which, you know, is a bit momentous, really, for all the times that we want to remember that god-awful year 2020. And, you know, they were running out of money because suddenly everything got very expensive. And so I thought, you know what? I'll buy the CD instead. I'll spend the extra, like £1.50, because it's a special release. I mean, the story's like a 7 out of 10, but that's a special release. And my last ones. My last CDs. The countermeasures. The new countermeasures, to be specific. New meaning it's got Hugh Ross in it instead of just the other 3. But these, the Mavellan Manoeuvre and the Dalek Gambit, this is series 3 of the countermeasures. I've not heard any other countermeasures stories, but I probably should because I really enjoyed these. This is a 2-parter, by the way, so the Mavellans invade, they fight them off, and then the Mavellans go, oh shit, look, Daleks, and the Daleks invade. They can't catch a break, those countermeasures lot, can they? But yes, those are fun. And that's me lot. Those are all the Big Finish CDs that I have, and some BBC Audio ones up there. And, you know, as I'm sat here at my uni desk, I look at these and go, oh, I should listen to one of them, and realise I don't own a CD player. And my Blu-ray player is over on the other side of the room, so I download the app again and listen to something on the app. Listen to Dark Eyes again, probably. And that's your lot. Thank you for watching, if you have. Who knows? Subscribe to Terror of the Tweeters on all good podcast hosting services. There'll be another episode soon where we talk about James Bond I'm hoping anyway. I think John's forgotten to record it. But we were supposed to be doing that soon. John, let me know. And yeah, that's it from me. Follow me on Twitter at MattBobRoss. Follow me on Instagram at MattBobRoss. And, you know, everywhere else. If you can find someone called MattBobRoss, follow them. I don't know, it might be me. Probably won't. Who knows? Thank you for watching. Is this going to be a regular thing? Am I going to become a HoopTuber now? I don't know. I just thought this was fun. And Twitter said I should. I did a poll on Twitter to say, should I do this? And people went yes. So this is your own fault. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra.